Good evening, fuckers. We are back with the next Train Simulator Classic request video. And this one is, well, it's sort of a couple of firsts for this one. We are on a route that has appeared on countless occasions, but this is a journey that I've never done. And I don't mean I've never done it in a video, which obviously I haven't. I have never, while playing this game, done the journey that I'm about to do. And I can't even begin to think of a reason as to why or not. Because we have done Carlisle to Glasgow Central on plenty of occasions, but I have never done the return trip. So we are starting at Glasgow Central and our destination is Carlisle. Now there aren't a huge number of major stations along the way. We will stop at a couple of them, so we'll stop at Motherwell and we will stop at Lockerbie if it lets us, but that'll be it. So yeah, so after leaving Glasgow, Motherwell, Lockerbie, Carlisle, it's just those three stops. So it's not an express service, but it is a fast service. Now, our train for this is a Class 91, the InterCity 225, if you really must call it that, but I hate that name because it is extremely misleading. Now, okay, we've done videos in the Class 91 before, not very many of them, it's only the third time it's appeared. No surprise whatsoever, this is going to be the Armstrong Powerhouse one. There's no way I will ever go near the Dovetail Gaze version again. But you may notice, yeah, the livery. So we're in the Great North Eastern Railways livery, but we're on the West Coast Main Line. Well, there's a reason for that. The livery that I really wanted to use, and the one that really would have made sense, was the InterCity Swallow livery. And if you look on the Armstrong Powerhouse site at their page for the Class 91 Enhancement Pack, they include, or it features a screenshot of the Class 91 in the InterCity Swallow livery. No, it is not included in the pack. In fact, if you look through the manual of the Class 91 Armstrong Powerhouse Enhancement Pack, yeah, it doesn't. You know, there's a section where it shows you all of the liveries. The InterCity Swallow livery is not one of them. So, yeah, unless there is a third-party livery out there somewhere, and I have looked and not found it, then yeah, I'm going to have to stick with northeastern liveries for the time being. I mean, I don't know if the Class 91 ever actually ran on the West Coast Main Line. It was obviously intended to, but yeah, I'm not sure if it ever did. Anyway. So bottom line is, yeah, we're in the Great North Eastern Railways Class 91. Now, what makes this slightly different to the two previous Class 91 videos is that because we are heading southwards, we're heading from Glasgow to Carlisle, we are actually going to be driving the DVT, the Mk.4 DVT. We are not going to be in the Class 91 loco itself. Class 91 services were always push-pull. And yeah, the actual 91 loco itself would always go northwards. So if you're going south, it's the push service, and we are going to be in the DVT. So that is what will be happening here. Last thing then, the specifics. There's some good scenery on this route, so yeah, I've got it set for summer and clear, and it is 11 AM. So that is the setup. Let's get this up and running. And here we are. So, yep, here is our Class 91, or very specifically, this is our Class 82, because we are in the DVT. And, okay, can't see it too well, but here, yeah, this is the actual Class 91 loco. Not all powered up yet, so let's get that done. Now, setting up the DVT is actually slightly different to setting up the main loco. So we'll get everything sorted out here. We'll put the instrument lights on. Put the marker lights on. Turn the tail lights off. That looks like everything. We'll just double check it. Yeah, we're good. You can now hear, faintly in the background, the fans of the Class 91 actually up and running. So yeah, the loco is powered up and ready to go. So it's going to be pushing this loco, or train, I should say, pushing the loco. Yeah, it's going to be pushing the entire train, and we are going to be controlling it from this end. This DVT we're in, it doesn't have an engine of any kind. So, well, let's let the passengers on. Once that is done, we can then get underway. So I'll say, this is a journey that I've never done before. So yeah, I'm quite intrigued as to how this will go. The doors are closing. I don't think we're going to have too much problem. There's the guard signal. Right, I will also set the speed set. 15 mph as we leave the station. Let's remember to turn the DRA off, and now we can get underway. If we change ends, yeah, you can even hear the engine going away. So yeah, we know that everything is working just fine. So we can go full throttle. As always, the speed set will take care of that. Now, I seem to recall from whenever we've done trips with the finishing point being Glasgow Central, the speeds are very, very gradual in terms of, well, for us now it'd be very gradual speed increases, not decreases. So it might be a little while before we can go full speed. You know, it might even be a little while before we can do 3 figures. So we can now go up to 20. So yeah, very incremental speed increases here. We're approaching the banks of the Clyde. We have entered the 25 zone, we just need to get the entire train into it. There you go. So increase by another 5 mph. 30 mph limit is almost right directly on top of us as we increase our speed. I did say earlier about us approaching the banks of the Clyde. In fact, I think we went over it the instant we left the station. So now in a 30 zone. Increase the speed again. So we soon have a 75 zone. So that's where we can actually start going at a half decent rate. So here is the start of the 75 zone. And we're now in there, so let's increase the speed set to 75. Now, because the Class 91 itself is pushing this train, and therefore the 91 is actually going backwards, its acceleration rate is not as good as it would be if it was actually pulling the train. Acceleration is not terrible, but yeah, it's certainly not up there with you know, if it was going the other way. You also need to drive it slightly differently, especially when it comes to stopping for stations, because yeah, at the moment all the coaches are bunched up, so we are going to get that sort of slight concertina effect, but we will get it as we slow down rather than as we speed up. And you do need to take that into account when you are stopping for yeah, any sort of stops. Oh, I forgot to check the distance. I think it's somewhere in the region of 105 miles. I know it is in 3 figures, but not by a hell of a lot. So we are at 75. We have an 80 mph limit coming up in just under a mile. We have Cambuslang station coming up. It's not one that we will be stopping at. So now entering the 80 zone. It shouldn't take too long for us to be completely in that zone. There we are. And then we have a 90 zone in a mile and a half. We will be going through Cambuslang station before then. So obviously for the vast majority of this run we will be in Scotland. So here is Cambuslang Station. Not exactly a memorable Scottish site. But I mean, we are approaching sort of 10 miles into the journey, and we've still not been able to go into 3-figure speeds, let alone max speed. I mean, when we are coming out of London, admittedly it's a little while before we hit max speeds, because we're just going through a neutral section. We are now in the 90 zone. We'll speed up again. So yeah, coming out of London, it is a little while before we can get to full speed, but we are able to go to 100 mph fairly quickly, and that is certainly not the case here. And I have a feeling we'll be stopping at Motherwell before we can actually do 100 plus. So Uddingston Station coming up. Well, in just over a mile. So here is Uddingston Station, or at least there is a station building, not a bad one actually. So it had that going for it. So we're on quite a climb here, 1 in 135. See if this affects our speed. We are able to maintain it, so that shows that yeah, we are in a much more powerful train than if we were in the old original high-speed trains. I mean, they were no slouches, but they didn't have the torque figures. A climb like this, we would have been losing speed in one of those. In fact, we do have a speed decrease coming up. I can only assume that means that Motherwell is not that far away. Indeed it's not. That's it appearing. So we'll reduce the actually no, we don't need to reduce the speed set, because when we leave Motherwell we'll be in a 90 zone anyway. But we do need to start braking because we are going pretty damn quick. Yeah, we're braking rather too early here. Fair sized platform here at Motherwell. I don't think we'll have any trouble getting the entire train on. No problems at all. So here we are at Motherwell station, and yep, entire train on here, no problem at all. Yeah, one of the complaints about the Class 91 was that it was very noisy, and you can hear why it had that complaint. I mean, there are other trains that were just as bad when it comes to the noise they made. The Class 85, that made a horrendous racket. The 87 to a degree. Weirdly, not the 86. Of the trains that are still operating today, the one that absolutely takes it without shadow of a doubt is the Class 68. I think we have had the guard signal, so let's go. Oh, let's not do that. For fuck's sake. So I have the speed set still set at 90 because, well, you can see the 90 marker there. So yeah, we are entering a 90 zone pretty much the moment we leave the station. And I mean, there's no way in hell we are going to be doing over 90 before the entire train passes the 90 marker. So it is a bit slow accelerating, especially from standstill when you are in the DVT. Like I say, it's largely because the Class 91 is effectively running backwards. It's just it can get up to its full speeds, that's not a problem. It's just that it can't do it as quickly as it could if it was going forwards. We'll set the speed set to 95. We are now in the 95 zone. So the next increase, we will finally be able to go at 3 figures. In fact, we have a speed decrease coming up, but we haven't got anywhere near 90 yet, so we'll just lower it down, lower the speed set down to 90 now. Shield Muir station coming up next. absolutely bugger all on that station. We have another neutral section coming up. The Wishaw neutral section. Only thing I know about Wishaw is that that's where John Higgins, the snooker player, is from. The Wizard of Wishaw. A bit of a crap nickname, but there you go. Looks like an abandoned station there. I mean, it could even have been Wishaw Station. Anyway, we've now got to reduce our speed down to 70. In fact, we've got to reduce it down to 60. Now, this 1 in 100 climb might actually help a bit, so we're fine for the 70 limit, which we are approaching. We'll see how quickly. Our speed is not coming down quickly enough, I think. Quite a sharp curve here, no wonder we had to reduce speed. Right, so we are fine now for all of these speed reductions. In fact, so much so we can now go back up to 100%. Will keep us at 60 for the moment. We are in the 60 zone. We are now in a 70 zone and we are about to enter an 80 zone. There it is. Just wait for it to wait for the entire train to get in there. There we go. 90 zone is very quickly coming up, and it won't be, I think it's barely half a mile and we will be once again back able to do 95, which is still the highest or the fastest we've been able to do on this run so far. So we're in the 90 zone. Carlisle station coming up. Another one we're just going straight through. And we're not stopping now until we reach Lockerbie, and that's if it will, allow us, as long as it doesn't put us through the avoiding line. So we're into the 95 zone. Here is Carlisle station. At least we've got a platform station building. So at least there was something there. Now, I think we've got a fair bit of distance to cover before we reach Lockerbie. I mean, we've got Carlisle station as well, but it does have a habit of putting us on the avoiding line for Carstairs, and besides which, going in this direction, we don't really need to stop at Carstairs. It's more likely to be a stop if we were coming up from Carlisle, not going south towards it. So this is one of about 6 or 7 routes that I had written down on another of my lists that I put together. It was 6. The video I did yesterday, the Bedford to Hove run, was one of them. So yeah, I've got 4 more to do after this. And each of those 4, actually no, 3 of them feature new routes. One of the one that doesn't feature a new route per se, but it does feature an area of a route that has not yet been seen. So yeah, some new stuff to come, and we have the 100 mph zone coming up. So entering the 100 zone. Certainly won't take us too long to get into that. There we are. Let's get up to 3 figures. Very European style train horn on this thing, especially there. Well, back down to 95 soon. It does strike me that the southbound speed limits are a lot sort of harsher than the northbound ones. I'm sure if we were going from Carlisle to Glasgow, all this section that I'm in here would be if not max speed, would certainly be you know, 100, 110. We've got yeah, quite a pause there. It must have been loading up a fair old bit. We have Carstairs station coming up. Like I say, in this direction we really don't need to be stopping there, so we're not going to worry about it. But once we leave Carstairs, look at that, 125 zone. Now I remember from the journey we did on the East Coast main line in the 91 that, like all the others, if you set the speed set to 125, it will still go over that. It'll go to 126 and it will start speeding. That's Carstairs. So what I will do is set the speed set to 120 and see what happens there. I'll also try and spot where the 120 is, that one there. So we're in the 125 zone. There you go, we'll set it to 120. Let's just make doubly sure. Yeah, it is 120. We'll see how we do. So if you've not seen any of my videos in the Class 91 before, there is one thing that I particularly dislike about the Class 91, and that is the other name for it, the InterCity 225. It's a staggeringly misleading name. It's not remotely accurate. For starters, 225 is referring to kilometres an hour. Now, if you're from the European mainland, that's the norm for you, but in this country we don't use kilometres an hour, we always use miles per hour. So when people first heard the name InterCity 225, they couldn't believe it. It's like, holy shit, we got a train that can do 225 mph. No, we didn't. And the other thing is that 225 kilometres an hour converted to mph is 140 mph. And everything was there ready for it to be able to do 140 mph, and then at the last second they pulled the plug on it and kept its speed limit at 125 mph. So even though it has a name that implies 140 mph, it has never been able to legally do that speed when carrying passengers. And the reason given managed to insult every train driver that there has ever been, which was, if the train was going at 140 mph, the drivers wouldn't have time enough to react to the signals that they would see, and the train wouldn't be able to stop in time if there was, you know, an emergency. Both of which are complete horseshit. And also, we had a train that was capable and was able to do 155 mph. We had the APT. Class 91 is even using some of the APT's features. It uses the APT's braking system. And the APT was able to brake absolutely fine from 155. And the drivers were able to react absolutely fine at 155 mph, but now suddenly 140 is too fast and the drivers won't be able to react to that. Well, why can't they? If they can't, then it's down to the fact that whoever was training them was clearly not good enough, because back in 87 and 86, you know, when the APTs were running and in service, the drivers were considered good enough. We are at 120. Let's risk it. We'll go up to 125 and see. I may have to actually do some throttle control here. So anyway, no, the reason for keeping it to 125 has nothing to do with the drivers and their abilities to react. We have 120 speed limit decrease coming up, so we can now actually set it back to 120 again, and it will be just a-okay. So yeah, the reason it was done is the same old reason, because money. We've got a train here that was capable of doing 140 and was built to do 140. So you keep it at 125 and maintenance costs will be lower, repair costs will be lower, because everything on the train is working well within the limits that they were built for. That's the real reason. But of course the train companies think we're all stupid. Admittedly, if you look at social media, you'd have every reason to think we're all stupid. But yeah, the train companies think we're stupid enough to believe them when they say, oh, it's because the drivers can't react properly. So they insult every single one of their most important members of staff. Then they wonder why the drivers go on strike. And they act like they're the victims. It's just complete and utter horseshit, it really is. And what it really all boils down to is the fact that, yeah, the rail companies hate the fact that there are people working for them who hate the very heavy implication that they're stupid. So we have another speed reduction down to 90 coming up. So I'll set the speed set for it. I think the braking will be, I don't think the braking will be anywhere near good enough to get us down to that speed without actually using the brakes. So we'll have a go. God dear, some big old cab shake here. So another question with regards to the Class 91 that frequently gets asked is, why did they make it a push-pull service? Why didn't they keep the two power cars at each end like the Class 43s, the InterCity 125s? And I think that's a perfectly reasonable question. And again, it's the same answer, because money. It was cheaper to build half the number of engines. So whereas the InterCity 125s obviously had two drive cars, so there were two engines in the in each train. But yeah, reducing that to just one engine for the entire train saved a hell of a lot. But it did also mean that if the engine in the 91 broke down, you were fucked. Whereas with the old 43s, if an engine in one of them broke down, you could keep going using the engine in the other. But again, train companies only ever interested in the profits. And only ever take the shortest of short-term views. I mean, nowadays, of course, every company in existence does that, but back then there was still a tiny residue of what's best for the people using this, you know, still floating around. Not much of it, but it was there. But once the rail companies were privatised, that last residue of that way of thinking just, you know, quickly got flushed down the Kazi. So in case you haven't got the idea, as far as I'm concerned, the takeover of all rail companies by GBR cannot come soon enough. I know they have control of over half the rail companies out there, but it's not enough. They need control of all of them. And let's be fair, initially it may not look too good. You know, there may be things like, you know, timetable changes that are being changed for the worse. Trains that are still pretty new getting scrapped. It's not going to look too great. But for once, people need to actually look at the long term, not the short term. I think there is an extremely high possibility that rail fares will be frozen. They will never go down. We all want it to happen, and really it should happen, but yeah, you've got to be realistic. There's no way they will reduce fares, but they will freeze fares for a reasonable amount of time, I think. It is a shame that neutral section functionality does not seem to have been programmed into the 91. We've been through a few neutral sections and it's not done anything. I think if we were actually driving the 91 car itself instead of the DVT, I think then it is. But in the DVT, no, it's not. Now we've got a speed decrease down to 90 coming up, so we'll set it now. Again with the rate of deceleration, even though I've set it quite early, I don't think it's going to be that much of an issue. Yeah, in fact, we've got there pretty quick. So the train's now speeding back up again, taking us back up to 90. Now, I say we got there quite quickly, which we did, but I think if I tried to stagger it a bit, we could well have ended up speeding through this section, so it's not too bad. So it's the BTUC summit, that's why these speed restrictions, which means we've now got quite a fair old section where we are going to be going downhill. This will be quite a test for the speed set. It does use the brakes. Let's see how well it uses them. Okay, we're off the BTUC summit. We're now heading downhill of 1 in 75. That's quite steep, to put it mildly. Brakes are on, holding us at 90.6, now dropping. That's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad at all. We are entering a 95 zone. There we are, so we can now increase it slightly. Our acceleration rate should be pretty good here. Yeah, look at that. We're probably going to have to be a bit careful here. Okay, yeah, it's slowing us down. There we go. It's still on its way down. We were at 95 point. Did it go up to 8? Yeah, brakes are doing a fantastic job here. So we have a 100 limit coming up. So we're about to enter the 100 zone. There goes the sign. And we're now in it. We must be getting pretty close to the foot of BTUC by now, because yeah, that 125 zone is coming up. It won't really have us doing that sort of speed while we are still going down a 1 in 76 slope. I mean, to be fair, the route display does look like we're still going downhill a bit as we enter that 125 zone. I can imagine that 125 zone must be pretty straight. I don't think we're going to have too many curves if we are continuing to go downhill and able to do 125 mph. So we're entering the zone now. Again, I'll set it to 120, especially as we are still going downhill. It's 1 in 80. It's not a gentle descent by any stretch. Yeah, so we did actually stray up to 121 there. So if I was to set it to 125, we will definitely be speeding while we're on this descent. So I'm going to keep it at 120 for now. We're almost off the descent here. So the ground is now levelling out, and it has levelled out completely. Okay, let's set it to 125 and I'll get ready to actually do something with the throttle. 124. There's 125. Right, we'll drop the throttle right down. The speed started dropping straight away. So even at 70% throttle, we're still not gaining any speed. We're now 5 mph below the limit. I'd like to be a bit closer to it than that. Let's see if we can get any trackside views. I'd be very surprised if we can. I'll give it one last try. Okay, one more and then no, it's just not going to do it. The Carlisle is now less than 30 miles away. We are still in Scotland. I mean, we haven't reached Lockerbie yet, unless we've gone right past it via a different line, but I doubt it. Ah, here it is. We need to be braking extremely hard to get our speed down in time for this one. Not actually sure how many braking steps there are. I think 7 is the emergency. We won't need to take it into that. There we go. That's actually not a bad stop at all. So here we are at Lockerbie. Hear the old church bells going right from there. Quite a nice scenic locale, this old Lockerbie. There's a guard signal. And away we go. So we are straight away in the 125 zone. So we can just, well, actually, yeah, we can just throttle right the way up. With the engine pushing us, we're very unlikely to have any sort of wheel slip issues. So, Carlisle, just over 25 miles away. I say this has been a great run so far. I can't believe I've never done this run before. If we get any trackside views while we are pulling away. Yeah, we do. Well, we got our trackside view, so well, we have a speed decrease down to 115. Not really an issue. I don't. Yeah, I very much doubt we will be doing 115 as we get there. So we're not having to reduce speed at all. Just not accelerate as much. Yeah, we can actually go back up to 125 soon. So through another neutral section. Now entering the 125 zone. There we go. We do actually have a decrease coming up. Only slightly, down to 120. It does mean that there's no danger of speeding. don't think we'll have any more 125 mph sections. Carlisle's only like 15 miles away. Surely not that far from the England border. I think we are still in Scotland. But, yeah, Cove LC, I'm pretty sure, yeah, that is still Scotland. So, the region where Carlisle starts to take over the signal management. Right there. I don't know if that means we are now back in England, but I would guess, yeah, we are. I can't imagine the Scots really wanting an English station to be yeah, monitoring their signalling. Anyway, we've got a speed reduction down to 95. We'll coast down to it as much as we can, but we are going to have to brake at some point. The speed set has been set to 95. Well, I did not expect to see that. Have a 125 zone coming up. Yeah, well, I'm not braking anywhere near hard enough. Okay, that wasn't so bad. So we are in the 95 zone. And very soon in another 125 zone, which really surprises me. Gretna Junction, so we are still in Scotland. Okay, back up to 125. So, I mean, I know Carlisle is quite close to the Scottish border. I didn't think it was, I mean, it can't be more than about 5 miles away from it then. I didn't realise it was as close as that. The only thing I really know about Carlisle is that they produced the greatest moment in the history of English football. And yeah, of course, I'm referring to the Jimmy Glass goal. You all know it. So reduction down to 100. Again, we'll coast down to that and brake when necessary. Yeah, coasting really isn't doing it. This thing maintains its speed a lot better than I thought it would. So now we must be in England. We left the Gretna Junction behind a fair bit now. Surprised there have been no speed reductions coming up yet. I mean, Carlisle is now just over 3 miles away. There we go. Oh, and then we have a considerable speed reduction after this 60. And that's why. So that 20 is us going over points. Oh, maybe it isn't. That was not flashing. But double yellows there, yeah, that's the norm. So we are cleared for platform 4. We are now in the 20 zone. I'll drop us down to 15 before we are approaching the platform, because I'm not sure if this is considered. Ah, yeah, there's a 15 marker there, so Okay, the 15 marker is if we were going over the points, but we're not. Set the switch the speed set off now. We don't need it. The platforms here at Carlisle started long before the green section on the display, route display there showed up. So even though the entire train may not be on the green, we know they're all going to be on the platform, so it's not a problem. As it is, all of the coaches are certainly on there now, so we are good. And there we are. That was Glasgow Central to Carlisle in the Class 91, technically the Class 82. We were driving in the DVT. And that was a great run. I can't believe I've never done that run before. Yeah, that was fantastic. Really did enjoy that one. And the AP Class 91 is as great as the Dovetail Games one is utter shit. It's you cannot believe that they are renditions of the same train. Yeah, that was fantastic, and there you go, completely clear run, no problems whatsoever, which I am extremely surprised by, considering this 102 miles. So in the previous video when I did the Bedford to Hove run, that's only a couple of miles longer and I had 16 speeding errors. Here, none. Okay, the speed set certainly helps there, but there we go. Great one that. Yep, really did enjoy that one. So that brings this video to an end, and we will see you at the next one.